So in the previous video at the sunset, we were driving right here. Oh my God, imagine farming some of that.
You are now watching Farming with Duffy Ag.
Welcome back to the channel. Leaving the hotel. Do I got a flat tire? Ooh, patched it good. Look at this rental. So yes, I did get it in blue on purpose. And I asked him, I said, "Do you get tickets?" So I wiped my bumper off before I left last night. But it's all dirt roads, so this thing gets beat up. But alrighty, what are we doing today? What do we want to do? Iowa is beautiful. Right now it's a little overcast, which isn't a bad thing, but look at the freaking beans. We're gonna go look at some fields. I got the drone on purpose so I could fly it, and yeah, let's talk about what's going on. So, appreciate you guys watching along. Appreciate everybody who's hit me up, who's realized I'm in Iowa and said, hey, we live in Iowa, this, that. So wild. Small town USA. Standing there. Little 460. Stopped at Casey's here for some breakfast. I definitely, I'll admit, being in an area that actually has farms is it's pretty neat. Pretty neat. One downside, internet service. I do some YouTube videos. And convenience. Convenience is going to be the big thing. Like, I ain't going to have tacos every Tuesday out here unless I make them, which is fine by me. But I don't have, and I know I'm in an area that you're blessed with that. A lot of places don't have that, but being able to run to a tire, a metal, a hydraulic place, supply place, all within 20 minutes is a blessing. But I don't think, it's not the end of the world. You just got to plan around and do what you need and have a list when you go places. Since Des Moines is an hour and a half away, Omaha's an hour and a half away, and Kansas City is about 2 hours away. So there's opportunity, but remember that does eat up time. Yeah. So first thing this morning, I figured I'd jump over here. We're gonna go to the Poet plant and just drive around and see what it looks like. See, that's a crying shame. Putting solar on the ground like this, absolute crying shame. But Poet is biogas, right? Yeah, ethanol plant. There we go. Here's Nutrient. So they're all over the US. I don't know if they're into other countries, but I know they're all over the US. So they got anhydrous bars. I don't know if I was supposed to go down that road or not. I don't know where I'm actually going. So there's a big anhydrous bar, fertilizer bins, sprayers, the Cobb Asgrow, what is it, Dynagrow? Yeah. A couple of sprayers, dry boxes. And that's the thing. So yeah, I could go rent the ground and I could plant it and I could have somebody else spray it and I could have somebody else do anhydrous. But at that point, am I actually farming it, or am I just playing a crop farmer? So there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle that I have to put together before I really know 100% what is going on. And I really don't have that much time, to be honest, so I think I can make it work. I really do. I'm nervous, but as I said previously, nervous is good in this situation because you can't be cocky at this stuff and say, oh, I'm just gonna farm it, we're gonna make tons of money, everything's gonna be great, because that ain't how the world of farming goes. And I definitely was supposed to go down that road because it's over there. I should have looked at the map. But yeah, that is an option of having somebody come in and spray, somebody come in and fertilize, somebody coming in and hydrous, somebody coming in combine. But that ain't what we're about. I like doing stuff in-house. I think anhydrous would be cool to do. But roll along. A lot of cattle out here. We're gonna jump down this road, I think. Yeah, a lot of cattle. But that's, the cattle are on pasture ground, that rolling hills that have creeks and trees and stuff that is less ideal to actually farm. Getting a phone call from the 978 number. Nope, we went the right way. We're good. So Poets all over. We passed them when we were up in Minnesota there, and I never even had heard of them before. But this is an ethanol plant, and from what I've heard, they will take all of the ethanol that is, or all of the corn that is available for them. So that's quite a bin setup. And then they got train cars and whatnot because they're, well, they can bring corn in, but the main thing is putting ethanol back out. So it is the weekend. I guess nobody hauls on the weekends, which makes sense. Maybe during harvest time, probably they'll take corn, but that's quite a facility. There's a guy down in that hole that is drilling holes for blasting. They got all the mats and everything else. We got equipment over here. It's quite a little operation here. I don't know if this is where you get limestone from. I don't. Well, maybe it is. But because that was one of the questions, like the infrastructure of any of that stuff, and he said, "Oh, you can get limestone, well, lime, 10 miles. So if you ever wanted to grow some, the ground would need some lime to actually grow a good crop of alfalfa or grass, stuff like that, to really get it going, to push the envelope on that. That is quite an operation down there. Soybeans right up to the edge. For being a dry year, I gotta admit, pretty jealous of their crops. So I don't know what that sticky thing is on the windshield. I keep trying to figure it out. They look good. And there's Nutrient. So we definitely took the right road because that was back roads back through. What? I guess they're big with the dual carts for anhydrous. Probably stability. There goes a cattle pot. Holy smokes, I love it. Something about cattle pots. I wouldn't want to do it full time, but they look freaking sweet running down the road. Last of the outlaws. So those are all anhydrous bars. The one thing though, services. Once you get out of town, it's pretty rough as far as cell service. So I'm sitting here on the side of the main road, got my blinker on, sitting on the side, and I'm sitting here and I'm loading stuff. So in the previous video at the sunset, we were driving right here. Oh my god, imagine farming some of that. Imagine the pictures, imagine the sunset with the, oh my. So you get off the main road and it's stone dirt, which isn't the best thing, but that is most of the rural America. You just got to be able to wash stuff. The one thing there, so at the farm, there's facilities that just haven't been utilized. So like trees have grown up, like the raccoons have got into it. There's a shop and there's a wash bay on the side of it that you could easily pull. Wash bay, paint bay, you could easily pull something large into it. So, I do have that benefit. I gotta remember where I'm going here, because I don't remember. I'm not using the GPS, I'm just driving around. We're gonna go over to some fields, and I'll fly the drone and I can look at a section of fields. So how it works out is most of the land is within a mile of the actual farm site, and at the farm site there's storage, about 70,000 bushels, 70,000 bushels of storage, and then there's some other little storage. We'd have to get creative with stuff, because that stuff sits around, it becomes tired, it becomes non-functioning. So there is some work that has to be done on that side of it. But at the same rate, pretty cool to like be able to utilize it. So there's some equipment with the farm, stuff like that needs some love, and it's just, you run out of time when you're farming. So our wrenching content would be super high still. Well, we'd have wrenching content, but if we're gonna go farm this amount of land, we're gonna be farming. Like, look at those beans. Like, and more beans. And more beans. There is, so up here, I'm trying to remember exactly where we are. So they got a Ford Articulate and a 875 Versatile in there, and a belly pan scraper. They got some cool stuff. So out here, I definitely think I would stick out like a sore thumb, because a lot of these people are larger, and the whole name of the game is how many acres you can do in a short period of time. So getting larger and larger equipment, and larger, and then shutting it off. Where I don't think I'd ever want to go farming with brand new equipment all the time. Like, yeah, some newer stuff, but having 7520 do tillage work and run a set of diggers, field cultivators, that would be pretty friggin' cool. We definitely have to add to a fleet as far as being able to farm, because ain't no way we're gonna run the 7520 for everything. Yeah, but yeah, the farm is right over there. You can see the bins sticking up out of it. So there's 5 bins over there. A lot of potential, just a lot. So here's what worries me the most. I have consistency in my pay to allow me that if something happens, I can keep working and get paid and paid my bills. Everybody, well, I had somebody reach out to me and say that they wanted to be like me, be famous and make all the money. That's not where I'm at yet. I hope someday this all works and it's all a good time. But this isn't a get rich quick thing. So I'll pull over here. So this is one of the pasture grounds right here. That's a Komatsu that needs starter rewired because the raccoons got in and chewed it up. And it's little stuff like that it's gonna take a little bit of time figuring it out, but that's a hell of a machine there. And the reasons for the machine is because, what are they, levees? We talked about them yesterday. The breaks in the hills and stuff like that for erosion. So a lot of ground out here is tiled, and it's all set up like that, which makes sense because you're on some hillsides. So yeah, this is all pasture ground behind me that the beef cows run on. The farm is actually up that way, the head place, but we're gonna go down the corner, get the drone out, fly some hillsides, and really see. I did think that this was gonna be more of a steep ground, but it's got some rolling hills and there's some steeper parts that are pasture. But at the end of the day, it's like I said in previous videos, I would get so bored if all it was flat ground, and you could see your neighbor from 20 miles away. Like, that's cool and all, but I think farming that, I would just get bored. Same with when I was in New Zealand. So I was in South Canterbury, and you get into the North Canterbury and it's just flat. Like, yeah. So South Canterbury, we had some, well, we only rolled a wagon over while I was there. The tractor stayed up, but it was pretty much on one wheel. They flipped it back over and kept cutting. But it was a guy in front of me, and we farmed some ground that I give credit to the New Zealanders. They farmed some ground that I don't think anybody else in many places. The Swiss farm some ground, but they do a lot with like the fat wide tires, low center of gravity equipment, or by hand. New Zealand people are nuts. They farm some ground that probably shouldn't be farmed at all. Okay, so here on the left is a chunk of ground, and then more is up there. So we'll pull, well, I'm gonna pull right in here. Get a rental. Run it like a race car. So this is all soybeans. And I've never grown soybeans in my life. So a lot of it's on rotation. He has said some years, depending on who's rented it, they've done corn on corn on corn, which I've thought about doing corn on corn on corn. Well, corn to get started on everything, because then I don't need a draper head. Then I don't need a grain drill. Yes, I could plant 30-inch beans, but do I want to plant 30-inch beans? And then I don't need a whole learning experience of planting beans. But I guess some of it's the market, and you're trying to spread out your risk. And then also rotation is good. Figures go to fly. DJI app or something's all mad, so it's downloading. But we're standing here. So I got a Maverick 2 Pro, and they basically killed this product when the 3 came out, but I don't see that much greater of a 3 compared to the 2. The Mini would be cool, but I'm out here. Let's sneak through these beans. These are pretty good beans. So if you don't know, what you're looking for is filling those pods. Well, building a pod and then filling it. So that's a pod, that's a pod. A lot of pods underneath, and that's your soybean. So pretty freaking wild out in here. It's windy, so the drone might be very unhappy anyways. I should have flown it yesterday, but I was driving around figuring out what was what. I am struggling here. It will not connect to DJI's, so we're just gonna fly it and see what goes on, see if I can not lose my drone. I think it's time to upgrade my controller. I think that's really what's messing me up. Maybe it's got some firmware that's not right. Either upgrade it completely to something else, but you guys got the general idea of what went on there. Hopefully it recorded something. I don't know now, but alrighty, I'm gonna go up to this next section that's a little more creative there, and we'll pull over and I'll fly it there, and we'll see exactly what goes on there, and then I'll show you some of what's going on. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. We'll make it happen. I just got a lot of things to figure out, like a lot. And I think my flights just came through that Avis just sent that they're canceling flights or changing flights. Of course, but here we are in Iowa. Okay, so this is the other field. Well, let's see if we can not lose my drone this time. Right off the rental car. Yep.
Recording started.
Okay, so this field consists of, it's a little bright. I'm not gonna mess with anything, we're just gonna run with it. So there's pasture right here. It runs up and over along the front of the field. Some pasture up on the top there that runs across. That's pretty freaking steep, he said, right there. So nice and windy. But, and then those beans are his too. That's tiled over there. But he says this is the worst ground that they got, just because of the steepness, and it needs some tiles and some breaks in it and everything else. But over here, some pasture runs down along the side of the road, some tree lines. Trees need to get cleaned up a little bit for some pasture ground, but those silos, there's a little bit of storage right there. Nothing crazy. But yeah, the silos aren't to be used. No power over here, but there's 3 bins, I think. It's like 8,000, 10,000 bushels or something, he said, between the 3. So then from there, let me see if I can...
Warning, signal lost.
Oh, don't do that right now. Oh, that is not good. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I went to change something and that doesn't work either. There we go. That's a little better, right? Okay. I'm figuring out this app. Something's definitely wrong. So, yeah, we got some silos right here. Pasture ground that needs some fencing low and whatnot. It's kind of all part of the deal that I'm going to do a little bit of beefing and run the ground for myself. But pasture ground is pasture ground for a reason, and there is some of it. So this corner, that's some of it, and then where we were prior is way down on the other side of that house. Not this first house, but the second house. I'm not gonna scoop myself over there because if we don't have it. So from here, you can see the car right down there at the bottom. From here, I'm trying to figure out, those are the bins straight out. That's where the farm is. So then the farm, more of the ground behind this house, the second hedgerows, I think, oh no, the second hedgerow, that starts the farm ground, and then the pasture out behind it and everything else. So, and there's more over there, but definitely some hillside farming, nothing too crazy as we've gone over before, but give you an idea and a layout of the land and what I'm, some of my thought process here. But yeah, beans look good. I didn't realize it cut down in between those trees. But yeah, he says this hillside's pretty steep right here. Well, decently steep. Not right here, but the entrance down here, there's an entrance up top, cuts across. Pretty wild out here.
Warning, signal lost.
Oh, I lost you again. Something's wrong with this controller. I'm gonna bring you right back, and then we're gonna go see the last little bit. If I can see you. Where are you guys at? I can't see anything. Can you see anything up there? Nope, don't land. Do not land.
Recording started.
Oh, we're okay. How'd you guys get all the way over here? So if you shut the app off, it returns it back to. Well, we definitely got to update figure out our drone life a little bit better. But yeah, I think there's opportunities in here. So this is the entranceway in, and you can see where the sprayer came in, but nothing's planted here. I'm sure the compaction's pretty good here. A lot of this ground out here is no-till, and they leave residue. They don't do any fall tillage for residue, so they're losing some of the side of that. They do some baling, but some ripping and some spots probably would benefit, just based on what I've seen. But definitely not going to do aggressive heavy tillage unless there was some hog manure available or something like that. Bedded pack manure and stuff like that. There is, well, bedded pack and stuff like that with the beef cows. Alrighty, jump in my race whip. Good thing I stopped and I threw the USB in my computer, downloaded exactly what I had on it. I went and looked at soybean fields first, and how they weren't even filmed and never saved nothing. I'm disappointed with, it's probably some of me, but DJI user friendliness as far as some of their drone stuff and how the functionality of it and the battery life and everything else, really disappointed, but can't do nothing about it. We just got to get better at it. So yeah, like I said, I think I got to update my remote or do something, and so I'm going to go back and we're going to look at the soybean field again, because like that stuff, it's a big chunk of ground and I want to make sure I'm good. So on the left here, so the ground comes up to this place, so that corn up in there, that goes all the way to the bin site. It's all, there's 380s there or something, so big chunk of ground. And then I think 280s are rented, and the third 80 is the one that, oh, we passed this yesterday and I thought it was a white. It's a Ford with, I don't know if it's a white cap, but all this in here that started back at that fence line up, it's all beans, and the round bales are all for the beefers, and this is pasture but needs fencing done in it and needs to be mowed. So yeah, there's 380s at the home. I'm trying to remember all this. He's got it all written down on a sheet, and the lease agreements and whatnot. And so we were just right here. We parked down there. So like, I'm not far away from nothing. At least on dirt roads, you can see the dust cloud coming over the car, if there is one coming over the hill. So there's 380s right there. 60 of it is not rented out. It's for making silage or doing something for the beef animals, and the last year he didn't get anything on because of timing. So I'm kind of leaning towards put some corn silage on that, chop corn silage, have some triticale or rye as a cover crop, chop that off in the spring, and there's your beef. There's a lot of beef feed there. So if you got 60 acres of that on some of this ground, yeah, so this is his, comes down this hill, and like all those trees can get cleaned up. Those trees do nothing except for suffer on yields, so they're taken away from everything else: sunlight, nutrition, nutrients. Then it goes to the neighbors here, and then we got alfalfa over here, which that looks like a good section. I'm annoyed with the drone. It's lunchtime, and I started this adventure at 9:30 this morning. Started messing with the drone and whatnot and driving around, so I haven't really got much done, but it is part of getting the content for you guys. I want to make sure you guys see it. So probably wasted 40-50 minutes sitting here with this drone. So let's see if it works a little better this time. Probably gonna lose itself, but at least I'll get you guys some film to show you the layout of this operation. There is a one-room schoolhouse here on the corner. I'll show you once I get past the sign so nobody really knows where I am. So there's a one-room schoolhouse here on the corner that can get tore down. And then there's a barn, corn crib actually out there that he'd like to keep, which it's neat. But here we are. So I think there's 166 here, he said. out of 195 acres. So like the tree line has moved in, and he remembers where they used to farm all the way up, but if nobody maintains it, trees out here must grow like anything, because there's literally, he has stuff parked like hopper bottom trailers that there's trees growing up around it, and he's like, I really didn't park it that long ago. So it's crazy how fertile the soil is here. Let me throw you guys up for a minute. Alrighty, let's try this again. So I'm probably gonna lose the drone, and we're gonna have to fight to get it back. Last time I lost it and I was a little nervous, and then we went and flew it again anyways. But yeah, there's a corn crib right here in the middle. Like I said, this is 166 acres, and there's a lot of ability to clean up trees. Tillable of 166, I think. But it goes to the corner, goes all the way back. And as you see, they missed the spot planting out there. I don't know if that's just because of the size that they're at, and they don't plant. It doesn't make any sense. But corners might be a little wet, but this whole, all the hedgerows can get trimmed back, and if you gain a few acres, then you gain a few acres. At one point it was all farm, so it goes all the way to the back. It's got these nooks and crannies. This isn't flat square farm and fields, which is cool. Let me sit down for a second here. So,
Warning, signal lost.
well, we lost the drone already. Something is wrong with this. This is annoying. So I'll just pan around a little bit. You guys can see what's going on, because it doesn't even know we're flying or whatnot. We should not be losing the signal when we're, I can see it right now.
Warning, signal lost.
Makes no sense. Something's wrong with this controller. But yeah. Oh, I lost you guys. Oh, there you are. So this is farm country though, which is wild. I guess we'll go back and we'll look at the bins now. Let me see if I can fly you back over here. There we go. You're coming my way, aren't you? So as long as you're above me, I can see what's going on. So looking out over that, it's hard to tell, but there's probably 100 foot of elevation change from that top of that knoll out down to the bottom, and it just makes for some rolling. But alrighty, I'm done messing with the drone. We gotta get it figured out better. Well, I gotta get it figured out better, but I'll bring you back in here. Beans do look really, really good for the year that they're having. So this ground runs right out. It's all I don't know, there's 280s and the 80 out back. Like, the storage is definitely there for, we figured they need a little bit of love on some of them, but, and we just need to cut. I need a chainsaw. I need to buy a good chainsaw. What's the best chainsaw? We've always been Husqvarna guys, but trim up some brush. It's wild how trees grow so fast here, like nuts. You look at some of the pictures and stuff on Google Earth. This is the one that he said the floor's got a little bow in it, I think. Yeah, that back corner drops down. So somebody was cleaning out and they turned the fan on. I don't know if you guys could see anything in that, but so just about 70,000 bushels of storage, which isn't enough, but it's a good thing to be able to store grain and play the market, do stuff like that. We got some storage. I'm gonna go mess around and wander through the shops again. Like I said, I'm not gonna show any of that till I officially agree on it, just because we got to do some tree clearing, scrap moving and stuff like that, which he's not opposed to it. It's just he doesn't have the time to cut down trees. Like right here, this drives all the way through, but trees just have grown up, and the structures and the ability to utilize it's there. So it's a 44 by 133 or something, he said, and it's got a wash bay, and then it's got a dry at the end. But alrighty, that's where I'm at right now. I'll see if I film some more. This is cool, little Great Plains. So I'm wandering through stuff that's parked up. So like Frank's, except it's not a no-till one. But yeah, we got some potential as far as stuff. There's a set of diggers over there that would look really cool behind the 7520. Just wrapping my head around it. Just leaving here, 2 o'clock. My flight takes off at 5:45. Should be good timing. I gotta put fuel in this and probably wash it. These dirt roads are pretty rough on keeping things clean. But I got a lot to think about. I gotta sit down and put this on paper this week. Really figure out if I can make it work. And then I gotta chase after some money because, like I've said before, it's a lot of money. It's I bet just between seed, fertilizer, rent, I bet it's over 600,000 just between that stuff. I gotta really do it out on paper and see. But alrighty, we're leaving Iowa. Well, we're leaving here. I got a trip down, and I guess I'll catch you guys on the next one. Figured give you guys a little short one. Next video is me going home, so hopefully we can make it. I guess you'll have to stay tuned and see. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the comments, the input, the ideas, the support. Pretty wild. So have a good one. See you on the next one.